Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, President Ramaphosa delivered his maiden State of the Nation here last Friday and spoke about many things that excited the nation. He cited the song Tuma Mina by the legendary Brahu Masikela and asked that South Africa must send him, and he will be there for all afflicted by a number of social ills in this country. Sadly, the President spoke about the pervasive violence perpetrated against women in this country. He never spoke about the gross economic inequalities between men and women in this country. He never spoke about the deep-rooted patriarchy which breed toxic notions of masculinity, leading to unmitigated violence against women in this country. I am here, Mr. President, to speak for those women and girls who have a very long time been forced to keep silent about the struggles they face just to breathe. I am here to speak for the widows and orphans of the Marikana mine workers who perished under a hail of bullets from the police, who were encouraged by his call for concomitant action, and their only sin was only a demand for a living wage of 12,500 rand. These widows and orphans face the daily indignity of having to beg for food, clothes, and school fees. Their plight is not that different from that of millions of other women who are forced to go and raise children of white people as domestics, leaving their children on their own to raise themselves because of deep-rooted economic inequalities. I am here to speak for the almost 36% of unemployed people in this country, many of whom are young people, and the majority of whom are young women. As a result, most of these women are forced into unsustainable livelihood to sustain their lives and are made vulnerable to abuse by these unscrupulous men who use their economic power to sexually abuse these young women. Unemployment rate is very high in this country, not only because of pervasive corruption in the public sector, as your white friends would like us to believe, but because of their own economic crimes, because of their criminal tax evasion through investing in tax havens to escape from paying their taxes in this country. As you aptly cited Brahu, Mr. President, we hope you shall be there for these women. We want you to be there for rural women, for lesbians and queer women, for sex workers, for widows, for women working in factories, and those women forced by unscrupulous men to sell their bodies to advance in the corporate sector. We want you, Mr. President, to be there for the rural women who have to walk very long distances to access clinics and hospitals in Bizana, only to find these clinics and hospitals without nurses, without doctors, without medication. All this while, we have a Minister of Health who seems to know what needs to be done and speaks about it daily. He knows what needs to be done to eliminate the duality between the private and public health system, but who just can't seem to get anything done. We want you to be there for rural women under the repressive stranglehold of untransformed traditional leaders in the Eastern Cape and in the KZN, who refuse to view women's right to access the land the same way they view the men's rights. We want you to be there for the over 50,000 annual victims of sexual offenses in South Africa, whose tormentors roam the streets. Among some of those violators of women's rights is one Mduduzi Manana, a supposedly honorable member of this House, and an NEC member, Mr. President. We want you to fix the police so that when women go to report these heinous crimes, it does not take forever for Mr. Mbalula to have Mduduzi Manana arrested, and that people like him into mothers in a very early age, as it is in the Northern Cape. We need clinics that open 24 hours with sufficient nurses and doctors who care about patients. As we speak now, Mr. President, at Bupilong Hospital in Mafikeng Northwest, their maternity ward looks like where you would keep your buffaloes. New mothers are subjected to the most degrading conditions, where they even have to sleep on the floor with their newborn babies. A clinic in Mohlakeng Township,
Honorable Ngwenya,
where mentally patients are given a
expired.
small container. Look after them, Mr. President. Those are important people of this country. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable, the Minister of Economic Development.